Hello, I will now be reviewing a few screens from my Pinterest account. This screen is a banking app, and the reason I like this screen is it's got very strong hierarchy. For instance, bank account is clearly stated $683.59. Hierarchy is also proven within the list view and within this here middle section. There's also a very strong navigation at the bottom, clearly stated home and account and deposit and pay. So these are four main sections clearly stated with hierarchy, and with your list view proven good navigation within this screen. Also, things are not squished and it's very clearly seeable. Moving on. This is a flight search app. The reason I really like this app of this screen actually was for the sheer fact for this flight search there's a lot of information that's needed. So the database has to gather a lot of information. And this screen has got a lot of input areas as well as gathering a lot of information and letting the user see all this information. But even with the cluster of information, it is still very easily seen. You can see travel to and from London, Great Britain, and the dates in question. All very nicely done. Simple pieces of iconography, but mainly done with a strong structure of hierarchy and tabbing. So the tabbing system within this is very good. I also like the fact that it is done in a dark scale background, where users usually can read information better and they're at a target audience of this caliber. I think this is very strong and very recognizable. And I love the fact how they intertwined the color simulation of orange throughout the back. I think it looks very well, and I think it's a very well designed app. And I'm sure it will be a pleasure to use. This screen in question is a self-learning app, and I actually use this app myself on the desktop, not so much the phone, but I can say that it looks the very same on a phone as it does in the desktop, which is a very strong reason why this app is a successful one. I like the fact of the top navigation hierarchy, whereas it doesn't take over the main field. Whereas this is your title simulation, it just the best way to say it just works. Once you use the app, it's hard to judge an app from a screen, but when actually using it, it's a very nice experience. And I really like this whole tabbing sections, how you've got your different areas and you work through them, and you're notified by the green, orange, and red simulation. And there's a lot of information within these wee tabs, even though this is maybe only, I would say, about a fifth of the screen, or maybe about a fifth or maybe a quarter. There's a lot of information within each of these areas, which is needed for this app, and you've still got your different areas for buttons, settings, resume, days off, and you still got this bit of information. But even though there's this much information, it's not information overload, which is brilliant. Moving on. This is one of my favorite apps. This app is designed very, very, very well. It's actually the same sort of app that we're actually designing for, which is based on a Step for Health challenge. This app is a health app, taking the knowledge of steps, active minutes, calories, and distance travelled. Even though some of these areas we're not really looking at, most of these areas we are. And throughout these other areas, we find different areas that users are actually looking for. Because whereas I'm designing this app myself, This app has been trial and tested, so an app similar to this would be a successful app. It's what I've learned through doing interaction design for the past year and 3 months. Is to a degree you can't reinvent the wheel, but if you develop upon that wheel, the structure could get better a long time, as it did from the Stone Age of a stone wheel to a rubber wheel. And the balance of taking in your personal profile and seeing it personalizes the app towards yourself. And I like the fact that the area that you're focusing on is in color, and each area you click into it kind of drops down into like this sort of feature. You've also got your menu bar for alternative information. This is also a very similar app to the previous app. This is Fitbit, sorry, and Fitbit is also a very well known app, even throughout the class that we're actually designing for. But I've done a lot of research, and the bit of advantage that I have maybe over other people is, although I'm an interaction designer, I've also downloaded these various apps and various other apps. And from using this here app, it's also a very intuitive app, and the whole click-in sort of feature is brilliant. And the thing I really liked about this was there was a lot more color integration, and kind of gave the user that sense of I don't know how you would really describe it. Probably the best way to describe it would be, I would say, probably motivational, because a dark grey app isn't really going to push you. I'm not saying a bit of orange or a bit of yellow is going to improve your drive that much more, but studies have been proven that color theory is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, improvement states within mindsets, and there'll be a point on my slide talking about this. But for now, I'll just talk about the actual area itself. From use, very simple, very intuitive to use, nice simple displays. Uh, there's a lot of designs out there that are circles, but when using some of these circles apps, these circle kind of loading apps, sorry, data being collected through a circle diagram, it didn't prove like you were doing a cycle, yes, but if you didn't complete that cycle each day, it didn't seem like it was completed. But whereas this here was more progress bar, and was more easily be seen, like if even though there's not a percentage here, you can clearly see that that's 100%. You can see that this is about 90%, this is 100%. It was just a lot more easy to actually obtain that information, like, and when you're looking at such a large audience, that's why I think this way works better. But thank you for listening, and thank you.